How's it going? This is Ed here, and we're taking a look at the Saris MHS on the back of the 2022 Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport. Well, the MHS is a solid bike carrier for you if you have two heavier e-bikes. It can support the weight of up to 80 pounds per bike. All right, and as far as your wheel mounts, these guys are adjustable, and they can support wheels up to sizes between 20 inches and 29 inches using the tool-free adjustment bar here. And it also support a bike with a fender in the lower position where it would clear your fender. As far as the style of carrier, this is what's called a wheel mount carrier. Basically what that is no contact to your frame. This is going to work for any style of bike, but it's usually going to be for a person that has a carbon frame or a type of frame where they don't want any contact from the carrier. Now the MHS has the ability to tilt while loaded. You definitely want to make sure if you have two heavier bikes, you have some assistance. And just looking at the angle of this tilt, I would feel pretty confident that your bike would not make contact with the ground, giving you full access to your hatch area so you can get to anything while, get to your cooler or whatever you have in your cargo area. All right, and as I mentioned, lowering the bike can cause some issues with it being heavier. Lifting it up will be even more difficult because you're starting from a lower position with more weight. So keep that in mind when you have your heavier bikes on. So now we're going to remove the bike from the carrier. With wheel mount carriers, I generally release the wheel strap first, and that way the carrier itself is going to stabilize the bike, kind of working as another set of hands. Kind of whip it out my way, get a grip on the bike here, and I'm going to squeeze the gray handle here and kind of pull in a little bit until I hear it click. And that's going to allow me to free the bike, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. Grab my bike one side on the fork, other side on the frame to kind of control the front and remove it. All right, with our bike removed, we're going to go ahead and put this guy back together. I usually put the strap back in the cradle here just to keep it out the way. And then you can just, if you'd like, you could just flip it over, or you could squeeze the gray handle and flip it into position for the stowaway position. So now let's get some measurements to see how close we are to our carrier. So as far as distance from the bumper, you're about 4.5 inches. Overall, you're adding about 3 feet, 36 inches from the rear of the vehicle. Your height's going to stay about the same because there's actually a rise. But your clearance is going to be right at 16 inches with the bumper for the tilt feature. One thing to also keep in mind with the rear ground clearance, if you have heavier bikes on the rear of your carrier, that may affect the height of your clearance. All right, so again, we're going to grab our carrier, squeeze out, and lift up, and we're going to take a look at the first tilt position that you have here. A lot of carriers won't give you this type of clearance, but when you're not loaded with bikes and you're in the stow position, you can still access the rear hatch on your Atlas. So that's really good as far as clearance. It's nowhere near the carrier, so you don't have any risk of making contact. We're going to squeeze the handle again and lift it up so we can put it in the stow position. That's how we're going to carry it when we're not pulling our bikes. And as you see on the rear of the vehicle, this guy will block out your license plate, your rear view camera, and will interfere with your backup sensors. Your tail lights are okay, your back window's fine, but you're definitely going to need to pay a little bit more attention, possibly look out your rear view mirror for your, when you're backing up with this guy on the back. All right, so let's get a measurement on this guy as far as how close we are to the vehicle in the stow position. We're about 2 inches away, and I can fit my entire arm through here, so there's no issues. I would feel completely comfortable that it would not make contact with the back of my Atlas. And just taking a look at the furthest point here, you're about a foot off of the rear of the vehicle. So overall, that's an additional foot on the back of your vehicle, so you want to keep in mind when you're backing up. but you know, is very compact considering the capacity of this type of carrier. And the MHS actually has a 2" by 2" square shank that's going to go into your 2" by 2" receiver tube. It's an included anti-rattle 5/8" bolt that's going to thread into the carrier to help stabilize it, as well as a lock that's going to be locked to the same key as your cable lock. So overall, the MHS is a solid bike carrier. If you're looking for something that's a little heavier duty, this is your guy. The carrier itself is a little bit heavier, but it does give you a decent weight capacity if you have e-bikes. Also, that 45-degree tilt on your Atlas that allows you to get to your cargo area. It's an awesome feature for this carrier. If you were looking for something similar to it, the Kuat Piston Pro is a good 2-bike carrier. It's going to have similar features that are a little bit more polished, but overall, the MHS is solid. It allows you to add a additional bike carrier if you chose, and just a real good product. Thanks for checking out the MHS from Saris on the 2022 Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport. Have a great day.